My baby put smile with a melody. I give her 2 calls, she won't let me. I'm well seasoned, I'm on peppermint.
My next guest is a wonderful lady, an MC, a writer, a poet, and a soulful human being. Her name is Shauna O'Briain, aka MC Angel. Having worked in PRUs through workshops, Shauna offers a unique perspective on how we can inspire students towards change. She helps inspire them through stories and unique experiences that are not often provided to them.
Hello. Yeah, so this is Shauna, also known as MC Angel, but I've got a new nickname for her, Shauna Angel. And yeah, so
I'll take it. I'll take it.
So yeah, we're having this discussion today about PRUs, about change, and about your experiences with them. And yeah, we've had like brief discussions before, but generally you've taught and you've worked a lot with PRUs in your time, and from your personal experience coming from like a working class estate environment, you have, I would say, a whole kind of unique approach to people. And yeah, so I thought it would be great to just introduce you in that way, and then we can basically get started with your life. So yeah, what would you say the moments in your life when things change for the worst?
Oh man, it's quite deep. And as a fully grown woman now, it's taken me a long time to be able to articulate it. But there was a lot of sexual abuse in my family. When I was a teenager, my uncle got convicted of being a paedophile, and he went to jail for 10 years for abusing my cousins. A lot of my mom's family had like mental health breakdowns when that happened. So my mom had a mental breakdown. And then my dad came back in the picture out of nowhere, but he was selling heroin. So my mom's trying to like deal with the fact that her brother's going to prison for paedophilia, and sexual abuse wasn't really spoken about so openly then. And my mom was really advocating for it. And she was writing articles about it for her uni. Like, she was really fighting to try and get her voice heard in that way, but it was too much for her to carry in the end, and it crippled her. So she became an alcoholic at that point when I was like 13, 14. And then my dad was trying to help. My mom was trying to get our dad to help, but he's driving us to sell heroin to people in all different places. So that's kind of when it took a turn for the worst. And then my siblings went to foster care. My other brother got sections. And I was just kind of wandering in the wind, not at school, not doing anything, just trying to survive on the estate with no understanding of what home, family, life, or anything means. Because pretty much everything that could have been like worst case scenario had already happened by 16.
Yeah, that's a lot. And of course, in PRUs, you're surrounded by so many people that are going through a whole heap of madness that you might not understand. And for me personally, when I was going to my PRU, I started to notice the realities of other people's lives, and that's when I put it in context of my own, and I contrasted, and I realized that my life, in comparison to a lot of my peers, is not that bad at all. So what would you say was the moment in which your life changed for the better?
Was meeting Jen. So my auntie booked me to go and do some acting classes. I really wanted to be an actor. And she booked me to go to some acting classes for 6 months. And then I decided I wanted to study drama. So I went to Hackney Community College when I was 21. So I had had no education from when I was 16 to 21. At this time, I was living in the hostel in King's Cross. My whole family was completely separated. And I was just in my mom's house, and they were drinking cider first thing in the morning. I was looking out the window on the estate. I just saw everyone going for the same thing. I was like, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more. I was like, I just want to run projects for the kids on my estate. So I started running these drama projects because I wanted to prepare for starting studying drama in September. One of the women on the estate gave me a building for free, and I started running it. No one was there. So then I went to the library that day. I printed out all these, like, I made my own flyers. I put them everywhere. And then the kids started coming. And then the woman who gave me the hall called this woman Red Jen and was like, there's this young woman who really needs some support. I think she's really trying to do something. Can you help her? I'm so humbled and blessed for this, that Jen guided me in that time. So I managed to get a distinction at college and then got £5,000 from the Prince's Trust and put on my first project. And then from there, you know, every time I was going through mad things, Jen would be like, Shauna, just write a poem about it, girl. Write a poem about it. I was like, okay. So I was just searching for a woman to guide me and show me how to live. And she gave me my first spiritual book. She gave me The Alchemist. She gave me The Celestial Prophecies. She gave me a few other books to read that started opening my mind to spirituality as well and another way of living. So meeting her was the turning point when I was 21. So up until 21, it was kind of lost. I just started developing these gifts that had been dormant for so long. I just needed one person to support me to let them shine.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's what it is for me. It just sounds like you've been in situations where it's allowed you to read people in the state of things. And as you were saying, like, on the estate, you wanted to move people, you wanted to help them with their opportunities. And people like you are testament to that change. Like, you've been through it. You are like really an example of transition through, as you said, like quite a lot of madness.
It's such a journey. When I wrote my story down, I had like panic attacks, got fevers, I got sick. Because when I had to revisit, I didn't have to, I chose to, but when I chose to revisit them traumas, it was just so deep for me, ingrained in my physical being, that it started coming out. So, but I'm a big advocate for writing with your own voice, writing with your own experiences, for tapping into the power that's already in your own life. Like today, I'm going to be teaching 3 workshops back to back, and I hope that the young people I'm working with will find power in who they are and what they've got to offer, because nobody else has your experience. Everybody's view of the world is so different. Nobody else has had your experience. Nobody else has lived the life that you've lived. Nobody else has encountered what you've encountered. Even if we all sit in the same room, we're seeing things differently. So when you write your own story, you're bringing a unique perspective of who you are to the planet, which is like such a gift, because nobody else can understand anything the way that you do. So writing is bringing that gift and that level of understanding and that level of opening up a channel to learn from each other's differences, to build more unity.
That is a perfect answer, you know. But I'm going to have to take that advice and use it myself. Probably my next book. I need to write like my own personal story down. But yeah, being able to confront like what you've been through is honestly, at times it's like very, very depressing. However, what I also think is, in a backwards way, this is a strength. Like, to be able to persevere through all of this, come out of the other end, like with your head basically still intact, and being able to recount on all of your experiences and use it to help other people. I think that is the most important thing about the work that we're doing here.
So important to connect with stories of your role models, because it's basically a blueprint on how to get out. When I was in my estate, it felt like a maze that had no exit. So when I met Jen and she told me that she had a similar upbringing to me, but she made it out, I had someone who showed me a way out.
I think that's so important. I think that's why it's so amazing that there's so many examples of these people around today. I wanted to understand like how important reading was for you, like during such a time.
Like really, The spiritual books that Jen gave me was everything. When I was a child, my mom really encouraged my reading. My house was full of books. And I think this is what set us apart from the other kids on our estate. Was the fact that my mom really wanted to write a book more than anything. And, you know, when I published my book, like, I did it in my mom's memory, because I was like, look, mom, you couldn't make it from your alcoholism. Like, it took your life, but I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to show you that your life was worth something. And it was that drive that my mom gave us. And even though my mom was this crazy alcoholic, when we used to write stories, she'd come out, she'd go, look what my kids wrote. They wrote this story. And she'd take it out, come and listen to this story. And she'd be so proud of our stories. And it's like them glimpses through the madness. Yeah. And I would just sit up all night reading. And when I'd finish a book, my mom would buy me another book. It's like, it's a game changer. And the books and the literacy give you a whole scope to other worlds which are not accessible to you when you're growing up in a council estate. You're looking out your window, you're seeing rubble and needles. But then you're opening a book and you're seeing Matilda, like, with books flying everywhere, and she's doing, you're like, oh, like, there's other things out there. So like, it's an option to understand other worlds exist. I've got this book for my niece. She's 8. Have you seen this book?
Yeah, I have.
It's awesome.
I'll follow that guy, Nathan,
Yeah, Nathan's really cool. So because my niece is mixed, she more identifies with being black than she does with being white. So as her auntie, I was like, I need to make sure that I'm supporting her in her development with reading and the role models that she sees. So she loves this book. Young people need mentorship in that sense to support them to develop that love of reading. Because as you're saying, you got that because you started picking up the mangas, you started picking up the other books. I got into books because my mom supported me in it.
Recent years, I've been picking up books like this. So, Good Immigrant.
Yeah, you know we got that. Come on.
Yeah, no, this book.
Long time.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And I've got a little paper bookmark because I can't be bothered to get a real bookmark. But
this book's been rinsed, you know that.
It's incredible. And like, since I started to realize that, there's so many different forms of books. And even with the book that I wrote for Stormzy, Rise Up, The Murky Story So Far, that is basically a biography. It's not like an autobiography in a sense that it's just solely about him. It's like a biographical view on the whole Murky team. And I put that together in a way where one time someone even said to me that, the book reads like a whole spread of WhatsApp conversations. And it was like a bit of a diss, but at the same time, I wanted it to read in that way. I wanted it to be accessible to someone who doesn't necessarily read like that. So I didn't want it to be heavy on the literature. Didn't want it to be so alienating. I just wanted it to be like me and you talking right now. So whoever's picked up the book, they can just read through it and get those experiences back to back. And in the same way, The Good Immigrant reads that way.
If we went to a Peru and we brought our like pile of books together and we sat down and we were just having a conversation, like if we just had the conversation we had about the sort of experiences that we've had in life, then we got all our books out and started geeking out.
Yeah.
Like them kids would have never, ever been subjected to something like that in their life. Yeah. Not from people like us. They'd be like, what? Like they just wouldn't have expected. They'd be like, yo, like, what's going on?
It's amazing.
We'll just come in and we'll be like, guys, guess what?
Bear books.
And they'll be like, no, not books. And then by the end, they'll be carrying their books.
Carrying it proudly. Yeah, books. Man. That's the aim.
What
they're
book
going to carry it proudly and they're going to love it. They're going to love it.
There's freedom in the books. The books will give you freedom because they teach knowledge.
Reading is never really even a fixed thing. I think it's a thing that over your life and over time you get into, your interests expand naturally. Like I never thought that when I was 15 years old, I was going to be reading Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. I was interested in those things. I might have watched a documentary about it, but a book itself, it presents you to think about things otherwise. Like you're taking all of the words, you're adding it up in your own mind, you're building up a whole new concept and vision for something else. It's your own kind of story and own show within your mind. It's just about feeding yourself with the information. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your thoughts with me. I think this is a really powerful interview, and yeah, these words are honestly needed. I hope that they uplift these students and they help them in the way that they just perceive their lives.
Thanks for watching Game Changers True Stories. If you'd like to read more, you can download a free text on the National Literacy Trust website. If you have any questions, please comment and I'll try to get back to you.
See, so I wanna pepper it.